Texas House set to vote on his impeachment, Mr. Paxton is relying on his support that he has amassed as a Republican legal firebrand. A decade ago, in a courthouse north of Dallas, a lawyer forgot his $1,000 Mont Black pen in a metal detector tray and returned to find that his pen has been taken. A review surveillance of the footage shows, according to the New York Times, Mr. Paxton was the culprit. A few years later, Mr. Paxton, by the state's attorney general, suffered a more serious political blow when he was indicted on charges of security fraud. Then in 2020, several of his most senior staff members at the attorney general's office accused him of bribery, corruption, and abuse of power. According to Democratic Party resources and the New York Times, Mr. Paxton has managed to survive a lot of his controversies, in large part because of his key role he has played as the most aggressive figures in the conservative movement. His challenges to Obama and Biden and his willingness to contest the controversial situation with President Trump, we all know it. I can't say that here, unfortunately. I can get my channel censored, so I won't be mentioning that here. So Mr. Paxton garnered a lot of loyalty with the Republican Party and the endorsement of President Donald Trump. Mr. Paxton also garnered a lot of loyalty with primary voters. This is a quote from President Donald Trump. Ken has served as the tip of the spear on so many of the legal fights about which conservatives care, whether it's immigration or holding the big tech monopolies. This is a quote by Mike Davis, the founder of the Article 3 project, and he defends conservative judges. Mike Davis described Mr. Paxton's style as, quote, legal warfare, unquote. Now Mr. Paxton is facing his own political battles that are occurring inside of the Texas House. Mr. Paxton reminded a lot of the conservative voters as, quote, leading dozens of challenges to Biden's unlawful policies, unquote, Mr. Paxton stated. Mr. Stephen Miller, former Trump's top advisor, stated, I stand with Ken. Quote, few in America have done more to advance the conservative legal movement, stop the lawless Biden executive onslaught, and defend our shared values. Quote, what the rhinos in the Texas State House are trying to do to America, first patriot Ken Paxton is a disgrace, wrote Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr. Mr. Paxton has also led conservative challenges in states around the country, notably on immigration, where Mr. Paxton has repeatedly challenged the Biden's administration approach on the border, where migrants must remain in Mexico rather to be allowed to do so in the United States. Quote, he's the strongest attorney general we've ever had, said the chair in the Republican Party in Travis County. The Texas House of Representatives voted 121 to 123 to impeach Paxton on Saturday afternoon. He now faces his trial in the Texas Senate. A quote by the LA Times, Texas House launches historic proceedings against Attorney General Ken Paxton. There was an overwhelming majority of Democrats and Republicans who voted against Attorney General Ken Paxton. There is a lot of outrage that's happening on the conservative side in Twitter. Originally, I did not understood the situation with Ken Paxton. I used Twitter, and when I was on Twitter, I seen a lot of my really cool followers talking about Attorney General Ken Paxton. There also was another relevant story that I saw on Twitter where it was showing a devastating plummet in public education, where a lot of the high schools had a significant high school dropout rate, where a majority of the students and children could not graduate. The public schools in Texas took unprecedented measures due to the fact that they could not have a graduation. There are many things happening in Texas that a lot of people are not understanding, including myself. Just not too long ago, I remember Texas used to be the conservative capital of the United States. Now, Texas is like mini Chicago. I also know there's a lot of Democrats fleeing liberal cities and going to Texas. I don't know what's happening in Texas. I feel really sad about what's happening with Texas. What happened to Ken Paxton? Let me know what you think about the situation. Write a comment. I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.